So, what was it like getting that call saying, "Hey, we want you to be part of this universe"?
Well, yeah, there was an audition for New Blood, right? Like us actors do, and it was great. I'm like, I'm not a cop, but I think that's the whole point. Is like, oh, the guy Teddy's not a cop. Like, he's a cop, but literally one of the lines I think I say is like 2.5. I'm 2.5 weeks on the force, and I'm like, that's how I
Hmm.
feel. So then I'm vibing with Teddy really well here. Uh, but yeah, so that was an amazing season to do New Blood, to be in Boston for, area for 6 months, and bring the wife and the cat with me along the journey. And then, yeah, I really didn't think I'd ever see Teddy again. So the fact that I got the phone call about Resurrection is really fun. And I love what they ended up doing, which I can't say anything about, of course. But it's really an honor to be part of, uh, you know, the continuing adventures of Dexter Morgan.
During New Blood, we meet Teddy and we find out he's, like you said, a really, really green cop. Like he's not been on the job very long. And he's kind of seems quiet and not really willing to, make a name for himself, so to speak. But then towards the end of the season, he kind of steps up, right? Are we going to see more of that from him in Resurrection?
Yeah, Teddy, how can I, nothing's better than a show you can't talk about. Teddy isn't, yeah, he's stepping up. Teddy has to step up more in Resurrection for sure. That's a great way to put it. Yeah,
Hmm.
Teddy is put into more uncomfortable situations where he's asked more than maybe his experience is allowed. Uh, so will he rise to the challenge? We'll find out.
How fun was that to try and like shift gears a little bit in his character for this season or this part of the show, I should say?
Yeah, yeah. No, it was cool. I got to, you know, I'm doing a few episodes, but it's meatier than what I did in New Blood, and so I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited to. It was really fun to dig into the scenes. I got to work with, again, I don't want to say anything. I got to work with some great people,
Yep.
and I mean, which is easy to say on a show that has, you know, Michael C. Hall and Jack Alcott and David Zayas and Raymer and Uma Thurman and Eric Stone Street, and the list goes on and on and on. So
Yeah.
everyone's working with someone wonderful, and so I am very thankful that I got to work with wonderful people.
What is something about Teddy that you like really relate to or you find was the easiest to portray about him?
What's so great about Teddy is he's all of us. He's like it was a in Iron Lake PD on New Blood. It was literally, um, Angela Bishop, and you had Logan, and then me. Like
Mhm.
it's a three-person police department where I'm, telling someone their sheep got out of their pen. It's small town America, and like, what if any of us were a cop? And then
Mhm.
Teddy should not have a gun, but here he is, and he has a gun. But Teddy, I always remember this in the breakdown when we get our breakdown for any audition.
Mhm.
One of the things it said about Teddy was that he had fought in Afghanistan. Did that mean that he was a desk worker? Did that mean he was in the field? I don't know, but I'm like, I think they wanted to give the feeling of like, hey, he's new and he's wet behind the ears, but he's lived a little bit of life. He's not completely like walked in and said like, hey, can I have a job?
Mhm.
So yeah, I just feel like a lot. I have a lot of life curiosity about so many things, and I think Teddy's curious. Teddy wants to be a part of the action. Teddy doesn't step back, and so I think I always want to kind of always curious what's going on, what's happening, and I think we all relate to Teddy on that regard. But also, push comes to shove is a little nervous, and we'll say that he's nervous, and I will not lie about that either. I will, if I'm a little nervous about something, just like Teddy will.
As best as you can, because I know you can't say a lot, why should people pay attention and tune in for Dexter Resurrection?
Michael C. Hall and me and Uma Thurman and Peter Dinklage. Yeah, what a cast! What a great. because who doesn't want to see more of Dexter? Like, it's the same reason that Michael's on record for saying, I think now that he died, he was like, wait, it's like when we lose something, sometimes we don't realize how special it was, and I think he'll be the first to tell you in a really beautiful human kind of way. He wasn't being ego and going like, no, I said no, I died, and let's move on. He's like, you know what? Maybe we should keep this going. And because I think he realized what we all know is just how special this show is because you have this central figure who acts on sort of how we all feel, right?
Mhm.
Like we all have those bad thoughts, and
Yeah.
he takes it out on the bad people, except for Logan. That was the first time. Well, poor Logan.
Hmm.
Logan really was the like, ooh, Logan was a good guy, but he was a selfish and how to get out. So there is that too. It's like, how does he deal with that? And he wants to go after his son. So Dexter's dealing with a lot of stuff in Resurrection more than he ever has mentally, but ultimately, I think we could all use a weird serial killer champion like Dexter to show us the complications of life, and I don't think we're ready to give that up quite yet. And
Yeah.
that's a good guy and a good looking dude, and he should keep going as long as he's got hair. And so I think he's going to be just fine.
Were you aware of like the universe and the lore and everything prior to being part of New Blood, or did you have to do some research?
I had to do research for sure. But what was great about, well, it's just, yeah, it wasn't a show that was something I watched a lot. But then it's so fun jumping into shows like a Veronica Mars. It's fun jumping into shows that like have such a fandom and have such like cult status. And Dexter especially is one of those, and the fans will let you know. And but yeah, what a great show to have to like do some research on. At the same time, Teddy doesn't have to do any research. You know what I mean? There's also a joy that like certain actors, depending on the role that you have, it's almost better to be like, I don't need to know anything. Like, what does he need to know about any past history about Dexter or anything? He just needs to know about old Jim Lindsay, who works at the tackle shop. So there's sort of like I didn't have to dive that deep because you just
Yeah,
have to
to be
roll with
fair.
just the tone of the show and get to
Mhm.
know a guy like Marcos Siega and Sandy Bookstaver who directed the episodes, and now Marcos and Monica Raymond who directed the episodes for Resurrection, and how wonderful Monica is, and how collaborative and kind Marcos is. And Monica will just work with you till she's like, she'll just be like, she has the shot in the first shot, but she's just like, I just want options, And it's fun. It's always fun working with people who are kind and collaborative, and that is that is the Dexter world. I remember. I'll say this: it's fun. It's fun. It's fun being with a group of people who like they told me, you know, when they were casting Clancy Brown's role for New Blood, I heard about some really big names. I actually can't say,
Mhm.
of course. And it's amazing. And Clancy's a huge name. I've actually become dear friends with Clancy. For like a guy who plays villains better than anybody, he's one of the nicest
Mhm.
human beings on the planet. And it's cool that they just eventually they went with Clancy, who may not be necessarily as big a name as say some people I would tell you now. Um, but the reason they did that was because some of these names had some really bad baggage coming with them.
Mhm.
So they were like, "Oh, we don't need that. All they need is Michael. They don't need Uma Thurman. They don't need Peter Dinklage. They don't need Neil Patrick Harris." But that's the cool thing is like all those people want to come and play with us because Dexter is such good vibes and it's such a well-regarded show. All you need is Michael. All you need is Michael. And even that, apparently, such is his original sin going, season two now. So I
Yeah.
think all you need is just you know, good
You
scripts
need a
and
Dexter
a big group of
Morgan.
people.
That's all you really
You just
need.
need yeah, you just need a Dexter Morgan. I, I prefer the Michael C. Hall version. No offense, Patrick, but I think he did a wonderful job. But Michael's the man. So
Yeah, and I think more about your answer about, you didn't really have to dive deep because if you think about it in New Blood, Dexter's in hiding. He's trying not to be recognized by anybody or, because he's quote unquote supposed to be dead.
yeah, Like if I'm Jack Alcott becoming Harrison, I am going back to the entire series because you're now playing this. He was a kid, but still, you need to know about the world and what happened. Oh yeah, Teddy?
Yeah.
No, Teddy's happy to be there, as am I.
What was your favorite moment to film or be participant in with New Blood?
Two things. I mean, I got you know, I'm sprinkled throughout, but I'm in every episode, which is really
Hmm.
amazing and fun. Obviously, the episode where I'm with Julia Jones, Chief Angela Bishop, and we're crawling through the caves was amazing. They just completely created from scratch these caves, which that we had to crawl through on a soundstage, which was really special when you get to work with people who are so excellent at their craft. I just it's the joy of doing this business. Like
Hmm.
earlier today, I'm working on a show with I do a live show in LA called Making Love with David Magidoff. I don't know if we'll talk about it, but um, uh, I just went to his house today just to kind of mess around. But Ryan Lott, who composed Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I'm just like sitting with him in his studio. I'm like, you are like, he got nominated for an Oscar for this. Like, what a treat to work with people who are masters of their craft. That's really a joy for me. And if you're kind, even better. So the joy of yeah, doing that scene in this fake cave for this high budget show is amazing and wonderful. And I also just I love that first scene that I'm got my wisdom tooth all bandaged up, and it's the introduction of all of us in that first episode, um, with me and Katie Sullivan and everybody. It's and Alano. I like that. It's because I remember that first day. It was a bit of a first day. I think it might have actually been the first day. Oh no, my first day was meeting Julia Jones in the snow for that scene on episode 6 because we shot it all out of order. We shot all the winter
Hmm.
outside stuff because it was trudging. So yeah, that first day was just like literally in the snow. All the showrunners and producers had on giant goggles. I'm like, "Hi, I met Marcos without ever seeing his eyes," and you're just like, you get into it, and it's this. That's the cool thing is everybody is so good at what they do that you have to walk in being like, we just assume you're a good actor. That's why we did the audition. That's why we did the callback. And now we are just going to assume that when you get here, you're going to deliver and you do it. And there's no, some shows have rehearsals,
Hmm.
that show, especially it was in the middle of COVID or right in, or at the end of it. And we just got right in it.
I actually am going to ask you about Making Love with David. So you do this comedy stuff. How did that come about? Like, what inspired you to create Making Love with David?
Well, as fun as my last show, actually, I did the Dexter edition. So I had on C.S.
Mhm.
Lee and Julie Benz and Jamie Chung all on. So New Blood in the original show. So I made it and Michael C. Hall did a little video for it as well. He showed up. Uh, but yeah, I created a show a really long time ago. I do a lot of improv and a lot of comedy, and I said to myself one day, I was just sitting around, and I'm like, what's the show that would make me the happiest? And I'm like, I love musical improv. I do. And I love love. And I'm like, is there a way to combine those two? What's the best version of that show? And I'm like, well, why don't I interview people in the audience and we like do their love story as a musical? Hey, that's fun. I don't really see anyone doing that show. People do shows where they interview someone and they like do a day in the life, but I've never seen like someone's proposal story or date story turned into a musical. And I'm like,
Hmm.
that could be fun because I'm a big old softie. And so yeah, so I've been doing it off and on since like 2017, this specific show. And I always have guests on but I've been doing it at this theater called the Elysian in Los Angeles for the last 2 years, and I've had 8 sold out shows, and it just makes me really happy. So a lot of people equate it. They create like a few people recently are like, it's like my church. Like it's in the way that there's community and a lot of love. I had a smash burger pop up the last show. I have a taco truck the next show. Again, I have Rachel Bloom from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend this next show, and Ryan Lott and Mary Holland, who is from Veep and so many other things. And I just get some wonderful people. I've had Tony Hale, I've had Randall Park, I've had um, Leonard Robinson and Patrick Adams and Tiffany Thiessen, and the list goes on. I'm very, very fortunate, and it's so many wonderful people just say yes. And I think we all really need, as much as shows like Dexter are amazing, and there's an online community. I think there's something so wonderful about a live performance and showing up in a room full of people, a little hot, a little sweaty, laughing and having a great time. And I have free drinks after and a taco truck on the whole thing. But it just makes me so happy, you know.
Hmm.
Everyone's got a this is my weird fun hobby that I do is this show. So
Well, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I appreciate it. I've loved learning more about what you were doing with Dexter. So
awesome. Thanks so much, Mads. Thanks for having me.